safe and comfortable interact with any product. All right, so the first thing, let me collapse this. Okay. So the first thing is, let's define some terms here. What is user interface? User interface is basically what you see, what you interact with in any product, right? You click on an app, what you are seeing, the elements you're seeing, the pictures, the buttons, the text, the videos, the forms. What you basically see is user interface. So it's just the digital space where users interact with the product. And talking about confidence, it is the user's trust and comfort while using any digital product. How do they feel when they use that product? Do they feel like they are going to be robbed of their money, or do they feel safe using the product? Do they want to come back to use that same product again? So that's the confidence part in user interface, user experience design. Sorry. All right, so let's look at UI elements that boost users' confidence. Some visual confidence builders. Number one, color psychology. This is very important. I've seen a lot of designs that has too many colors, and it can be very, very distracting for the user. Imagine you're coming to a page and you're seeing all sorts of colors looking like rainbows. You can be distracted as to what is important in the site to look at, what is the main message that the site is passing across. You can't get it because your eyes is distracted with too many things. So you want to keep, as a UI designer, you want to make sure that you keep your color palette very simple and short. Maximum of 4 colors. You can go minimum as in 2, but maximum of 4 colors. Don't go more than 4, because anything more than 4 is already a distraction. I said 4 because you might want to have white and maybe black or gray for your background colors, or your body copy colors, and then 1 primary color and 1 accent color. So you want to make sure that they are very short and simple, and they are speaking about the brand. So you must follow the brand guide to ensure that you are using the right colors. Let's look at some layout design parts. Okay, now white spacing. This is also very important. Have you ever visited a site where everything just looks jam-packed? You know, the elements just look jam-packed. You don't know what section is, what differentiates what section from what section. Everything just looks like they are clogged up together, and you are confused as to where to go next, what to click, all right, and what you need in the site. So you, as a designer, you want to make sure that you give the elements breathing space. That's what we call it in UI design. Let your elements breathe, right? Allow for enough spacing to differentiate the elements. So you have a particular element here, let there be at least 16 pixel space to differentiate it from the next one, right? So white spacing is very important to avoid visual clutter. Information flow. You must make sure that your information architecture is solid. In other words, how does your product go from start to finish? All right, the very first thing from the sign up down to maybe, say for instance, an e-commerce site, to the checkout, right? Make sure that the users are properly guided from the sign up down to the checkout. They are not confused in any part. So the logical arrangement of your content must be solid. So the information flow must be solid. Another one is navigation. The users want to know how to navigate your site properly. They must not be confused as to how to get to what section from what section. They must not be confused as to how to get to the profile section from the home page. So you must make sure that the navigation menu is in a place that is easily visible for your user to access. So some practical confidence techniques. Social proof. I believe we all have experience with this. Testimonials, very important. Say you want to download a particular site from Google Play Store or Apple Store, right? One of the first things you want to do is to go to the review section to see how many stars this particular product have, to know if it is worth spending your MB or your data on, right? So users feel confident when they know that other users like your product, have used your product, and they want to see the kind of feedback other users have. So if you have testimonials about of how users have experienced your product, please put that in your site. It gives whoever is interacting with your site confidence to go ahead to use your product. But if you don't put that, they might look at it like maybe this is a fluke or something. They might not want to get involved in it because they don't know what experiences others have had using your product. The same thing as the reviews, the thing that people have said concerning your product. Users want to be sure that they are not signing up for something that would be a waste of their time or a waste of their resources. All right. Another thing you want to make sure of is process transparency. I put this in just for instance, say you are using or you're building an e-commerce site. All right. I was talking about the logical flow at the beginning. You want to make sure that these 3 steps are, properly displayed or inculcated in your design. The checkout steps, right? You must not miss this out. Most products have, or most products, how would I put this now? Most products, make profit from what they are putting out there. So there's most times the need for a checkout. All right. So you want to make sure that there's a clear purchase progression from when they, initiate the purchase button, or from the purchase button rather, when they initiate purchase to when they get the final product. You want to make sure that there's a clear progression from there. And one of the ways you can do that is the next thing which I put here, the progress bar, which shows the representation of the completion, the stages that the user is at different stages in the product. Then error messages. When you are using a particular product and probably, let's say for instance there's an issue, say you're clicking a button and it's okay, I had a similar issue just logging into this meeting this morning. Let me just use that as an example. That's a perfect example. I wanted to log in and I was clicking the launch button. I was clicking the launch button and it was not leading me anywhere. I had to use another route to get in. What I'm trying to say is, if they've showed me an error message to tell me, okay, this is the issue, maybe get to fix it. The way I fixed it was to download the Zoom app. I was thinking I could just get on Zoom from my browser, not knowing that I had to download the Zoom app. So if I'd gotten the message to tell me you can't log in from here, maybe go through the Zoom app or something, that would have been easier. I just had to use my initiative to get that done. So that's bad UX. Let me just put that out there. So make sure your users are not confused as to how to navigate your site. Say for instance, you're standing in front of a door and there's no knob. You don't know if you're going to push the door or if you're going to pull it or whatever. There's no clear direction as to what to do. So make sure there are messages, maybe a modal to tell the user that this is the challenge, try this route or something to get the problem solved. All right. So what are the common mistakes to avoid as a UI designer building a product that boosts users' confidence? One of the things you want to avoid is navigation complexity. As I explained earlier, make sure that it is easy, navigation is easy for your users to access. Don't put it in a place where it is obscure and they cannot, access it easily. Right? Users will get tired and they will just leave the product. It is known across board that users have about 50 milliseconds, that's about 0.05 seconds to decide if they want to use your product or not. So you don't want to get them tired at the very beginning. So put everything that they need in the places where it should be and in the places that would be easily accessible. Overwhelming forms. I'm sorry to say, but it is known also across board that users are lazy. All right, they don't like to do too much work. Just get it simple and get it done as fast as possible. Don't make your forms too long and you're looking for too much input. just make it short and concise. The information that you need or the data that you need, put it out immediately, and don't look for too much things that will put the users off. All right. Designing consistency. This is also very important as a UI designer. You want to make sure that there's congruency across your design. You don't want to be using let me just use this as an example. You don't want to be using a rectangular background, say for instance in the hero section, and you are now using something like a circle or a star in other sections of your product. If you're using a particular format, stick to it to the end. And let me use another example. Say you're using a particular font, say Montserrat, as your body copy font, and then you got to another section of your site and you're using Poppins. That's wrong. If you're using Montserrat, make sure you're using Montserrat throughout. All right. And that consistency is important. If you don't have that, it puts the users or the user off. All right. Okay, with this short presentation of mine, I hope I've been able to whet your appetite to join or to start your UI UX career if you are just thinking about starting, or if you've started before and you just need a push, right? I believe I've been able to, with this very short presentation, to give you that boost to forge ahead. And I just want to let you know, excuse me, that Doyenify Academy, as we heard from the CEO himself at the beginning, Doyenify Academy is here to provide you every tool that you need to succeed in your UI UX career, taking you from being a beginner down to a pro. And as he said, we're not leaving you halfway. We'll hold you by the hand, make sure you have good hands-on experience and even mentorship that you need to make to succeed in the field. All right, so if this is you, the link is there. Just log in and register. We have contact information also. You can reach out to us anytime and we would always respond. So if you have any question, I believe this will be for later. If it is, let me just bow out and say thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you very much, Mr. Victor, for that exciting presentation. I was captivated by it, but I think if you have any questions right now for Mr. Victor, I think this is gonna be a good time for you to come and ask your questions. You can write them in the chat box. You can also raise your hand, and then I'll call you you can unmute your mic and ask your question. So please feel free to use the chat button to ask your questions. And thank you very much, Mr. Victor, for that presentation. If there are no questions for now, you can still use the chat box. You can type them in. It might take a second for you to gather your thoughts and write a question. But I will just ask Mr. Victor now. So I would ask you, what are like the challenges that you faced becoming a UI UX expert?
Okay, one of the challenges I faced, mine is peculiar to me, it might not be the same with others, was getting started with, registering with a school, with the design school. I did that much later. At the beginning, I wish I had the opportunity to, but I couldn't for financial reasons. But it was a huge challenge then, because I was just scurrying around resources online to get to learn the field, things about the field better. But if I'm going to advise anyone who is a beginner coming in, I would say get to start your process with the school, because it's going to give you that structured learning. I didn't have that at the beginning because I was just scurrying around, resources online to know more about the field, and there was no proper mentorship to tell me, okay, when you're done learning this, say for instance, when you're done learning the fundamentals, this is what you need to learn next. I was just doing everything I knew by myself. So if you want to start, I would say, start with a school. It will give you a structured learning. You know what to do next, right, after the first step. So you don't waste your time learning things that are not relevant in the moment, and you basically just give you that structured learning. So that's one of the challenges I faced, right? Starting with an online or self-taught process. Yeah.
Very nice response. Thank you very much. So I don't know how long would you say it should take to learn UI UX from your perspective?
From my perspective, it depends on how fast you are. Minimum 6 to 9 months, maximum a year, 2 years. Depends on how fast. It depends on how fast you are, but minimum 6 to 9 months to learn from the fundamentals to becoming a pro, to having your first gig as a UX designer.
Nice. So I see also that we have a question as well in the chat from Taya. Good presentation to you. So I think you can also see his question or her question. And Taya is asking, how do you get inspirations for your designing?
Okay, great question. Well, thank God for resources online. We have various sites that can help you, give you inspirations to boost your design skills. We have sites like Dribble. Dribble is a good place to get inspiration from. We have Pinterest. It's also a good place to get inspirations from, because designers camp there, post their resources there, post their materials there, post their designs there. Another good place to look at is Behance. Behance can be a portfolio site, but at the same time, designers also put out their work there. So you can go there and find inspirations from top designers who are making waves in the field, and just get inspirations from them. Another good place is, many people don't know this, or I believe people do, X. X is also a good place. Designers camp there also. If you go to X and you search for a particular designer, you see streams of designers, and you can take a look at their works and get inspirations from there too. So Dribble, Behance, Pinterest, X, good places to look at.
Nice. And then Ty also asked, what tools do you use for UI UX?
There are many tools out there, but the industry widely accepted tool is Figma. Some companies use Adobe XD, some use Sketch, some use Prototype, right? Some use InDesign. There are different tools out there, but the widely accepted across board is Figma. So if you learn Figma, you're good.
Nice. Thank you very much. I hope his questions, his response satisfied you, Tayo. And also I see someone has also asked a question that my question is not exactly about UI UX. I think Mr. Gwenga can take this one. So I originally wanted to take UI UX course, but I changed my mind and decided to pick between data analytics and software design. I want to know which is preferable. Thank you. So Mr. Olumide Gwenga, can you take this question?
Hi, yeah. Ini, right? Is that your name? Ini Ulua? Or like, I don't know, but yes, I can see Ini asking that beautiful question. Yeah, you are welcome. I will say that most fields in tech are very lucrative. Like UI UX is good. It's a good place you can start. And then if you talk about data analytics, it's also very good. And if you talk about software design, it's also very good. I think you want to say software development, basically. So we have, let me share my screen. I like sharing my screen a lot, I'm sorry. But I think that one will really drive home the point. So this is our school. You can see engineering. So if they come to engineering, you will see software, the full stack software development. We have front-end development and we have full stack web development. So I believe this is what you mean by software design. So when we talk about front-end development, it's all about talking about the user interface. And then full stack, you talk about the back end, the front end, the database design and everything all together. When we talk about full stack development, all is very, very good. You just need to understand that you are going to engineering part of the whole story. If you come for software design or software development, if you are going to UI UX, you are going to the product design. So in product design, we have the graphic design and you have the UI UX. So that's what we have in product design. I think I'm using the test environment. Let me go to the so when it comes to the product design, you are supposed to see our graphic design and UI UX design, right? So, and then data analytics is in the field of data science, and we have various courses there too as well. Data science, financial data analytics itself, and the basis of SQL. So all these are specialized fields. So depending on the fields you like to go, and then the way we encourage people to choose what they want to go is all about their background and what they are interested in. So if you have your background already in maybe design and graphics and you've been doing fine, you can go to product design. If you have a background in maybe dealing with some small data and like you love it, then you can go to the field of data science or anything related to data. And then if you've been doing engineering before, you can say, okay, but I believe you can do anything, no matter your background, actually, no matter your background. Our program is designed for people that have even zero experience, you see, no degree or previous tech experience are needed. So all what you need to bring to the on board is your ambition, it's your zeal, your will. So if there is a will, there is always a way. So that is the concept. The moment you put in your will that I'm going to do it, and then I believe you know this word, if you can think about it, you can achieve it. So it's all about thinking about it and start achieving what you want to achieve. So I believe any field is fine for you, but we need to have a special meeting with you where we are going to interview you specially, and then we can both decide which direction we want to follow. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Gunya, for that response. I believe he has done justice to that question. So, Mr. Victor, two more questions, and then we'll move on to next speaker. Mr. Ibukun is asking, isn't it too late getting into UI UX in 2025?
Okay. I think I get where this question is coming from. I believe it's because of the mass influx and integration of artificial intelligence in the tech world today. It is not too late at all. I believe also that artificial intelligence is a tool that can be leveraged even in UI UX design. All right, so it's not too late. What you just need to do is just get started with the basics, and from there you would find your way to the top. It is never too late to get started with your UX design. What you feel is the barrier is actually a helping hand in the process all along. So don't be scared of artificial intelligence. It is there to help you. All right. Some people have said that artificial intelligence will take the jobs of UI UX designers in the coming future. I don't think so. Right. Because UI UX is broad. It is broad, right? So it's never too late. You can get started. Just get through the fundamentals and then pick up the steps from there.
Thank you very much, Mr. Victor. And finally, we have a question from Mr. Victor Akinola. is in product design, is there any requisite background to consider in this choice of career? And is it synonymous to graphic design? Thanks.
Okay. Truth is there is no requisite background. You don't need to be an expert in graphic design to get started with UI UX design. Like Mr. Benga said, all you need is the will to start. If you have that, you are good to go. If you have the experience of a graphic designer, that's good. That's an added advantage, right? Because it means that you already understand the fundamentals of design. You don't need to do too much work in that regard. But if you don't, the tutorials and the classes that you'll be engaged in will teach you all of these things. So all you need basically is your will. If you have the will to do it and the heart to get on it, you'll be good. But there are no requisite backgrounds to have. And is it synonymous to graphic design? In the aspect of the fundamentals of design, the principles of design, yes, because as you have in graphic design, you have to ensure that there are enough white spaces, there's congruency, elements, sizes, and all of that, typography and colors and the likes. Those things are important in graphic design as well as in UI UX design. But in terms of building a product, they are not synonymous at all. All right, so the only advantage in graphic design is that you already have the fundamental knowledge of design to bring into UI UX, but they are not the same at all. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Victor. Mr. Ibuko, please go ahead and play our video while we get ready for the next speaker.
To unlock your full potential in the exciting world of technology, introducing Doyenify Academy. The premier tech teaching academy for aspiring innovators like you. At Doyenify Academy, we believe that the future belongs to those who embrace technology. That's why we offer cutting-edge courses designed to empower you with the skills and knowledge needed to succeed in today's digital age. Through our hands-on approach, you gain practical experience in coding, web development, data analytics, artificial intelligence, and much more. Our industry-standard tools for teaching provide an immersive learning environment that mirrors real-world scenarios.
Whether you are a beginner, looking to kickstart your career, or you are a seasoned professional aiming to level up your skill, our expert professionals at Doyenify are here to guide you every step of the way.
Join the ranks of our successful alumni who have gone on to work at leading tech companies and start their own ventures. Don't just learn technology, become a technology doyen with Doyenify Academy. Enroll now at Doyenify Academy and unlock your potential. Visit our website at academy.doyenify.com or call us at +234 703 341 6581. Doyenify Academy, where the future begins.
Thank you very much.
Are you ready to unlock your full
Taye,
potential?
Jude, Amy, for staying with us so far. Caroline, Tayo, Ifeolu, thank you for being with us till now, and also Mr. Victor Akinola and Ayomide. I also see you, Christwell, Clara, and Richard. You're very much welcome. We also have one more speaker for us today, and we're getting ready to listen to him, Mr. Ife Oluwa Olagbemi, who is a UI UX design expert. He's an in-house expert at Doyenify, and he's here to give you more insights into the field. Mr. Victor just spoke with us now, and basically the summation of what I got from him is that it's not too late to start. The time to start is now. All it requires is a willingness to learn and the right level of discipline and diligence to see it through. Now, Mr. Ifeoluwa, if you are ready for us, the floor is open to you to give us your presentation. Mr. Ifeoluwa, over to you.
All right. Thank you. Can you hear me clearly? Hello, can you hear me? Am I audible?
Yes, we can hear you.
All right, thank you. Come here. Let me set up my device. Okay, let me share. Okay, can you see my screen now?
Yes, we can see your screen, but we cannot see your face.
Okay, I'll show my face now. All right, can you see me now? Hello? Okay. Good morning, hi everyone, and good afternoon. Today I'll continue from where Victor stopped, creating intuitive design and engaging user experience. Victor mentioned on the UI part of it, topic about the UI side of it, about the topography. I'll focus on the UX side of the story. And when talking about creating intuitive and engaging user experience, there is a part called the user experience, and that's the user experience. And I'll focus on the Stanford design thinking process or Stanford design thinking process, because before we can have anything on the front side of a thing, we need to first talk about the back side of it, and which is the US, where you do the research and all those things, and that design thinking process, and that's what I'm going to take us through today. Okay, this is design thinking process I'm talking about. Tim Brown says something, said, design thinking is a human-centered approach to innovation that integrates the needs of people, very important, people that want to use the products, that's the users that will perform tasks on the products we are building. Then the possibility of technology. What technology are we using? Are we building, what are we building, or the interface we want to build? Are we building it on a mobile app, or how we building on web, or any other device, or any place we want to use the technology? And the requirement for business sources, like everything we need, where we need it, business sources is very important. That's why the business requirement is needed. Like some instance, when starting a project, the business requirement document is always needed to kickstart. That's something about Tim Brown said. Now let's continue. Now design thinking phases. Well, we have 5 main design thinking process that we have. We have something called the empathize. That's the first phase of it. We have define. That's define. We have ideas, and we also have something called prototype. And from prototype, we have another thing called test. And from the empathize, we have like understanding the users, which is very, very important to understand the users that want to use this technology we are building, or the interface we are building for the success of the business. You need to understand the users. Number 2 is identify the problem. this problem you want to solve, you need to be able to identify the problem. That's you're defining the problem you want to solve. And the third phase is ideate, brainstorming solutions. We can have, let's say we can have hundreds of solutions on a particular screen. Now, how do you know the one to pick out? You understand? How do you know the one to pick out? Out of the solutions you have, you can have different wireframe, different sketches all over, but how do you know the one you need? And from there, when you create the solution, then you can now start creating the models of these solutions, like prototypes of it. It can come in low fee, it can come in high fee, and it can also come in high fidelity, low, mid, and high. Then you can refine your testing, like refine the solution by talking about different testing. Let's take one after the other. We have the empathize, like something like to empathize. Like I said, you need to understand the users that need to do the product. And this involves basic research. We have the secondary research, and we have the primary research. And when talking about the secondary research, we are talking about the either the quantitative and the qualitative research. That's what we talked about. And when talking about the primary, we're focusing on different kind of analysis that we want to use on the primary research. I'm not go in details on the secondary research and the primary research will be involved in, and this will be talked well in details in the academy when you register. And that's something like empathize. This will make you to understand the user. Maybe when you do survey, you do interview with people, and that's part of the process of this empathize. And the other one is define. Like I said earlier in the other slide, this slide, I talk about like this will help you to define the problem very well, and that's what we have now. The user personas, user scenarios, storyboard. When talking about user personas, you are talking about the frictional character of this particular product, of this particular user you want to build. That's the user persona. The user scenario means like you're talking about the story, what you want to do. Now here, the users that want to use the product, you talk about their technology, what the technology you're familiar with. You need to do the research on that. You need to talk about their background, demography, their age, their background, exposure to technology. That's where user personnel, everything comes into place. And you do some other, their goals, their and frustrations, like maybe in time past, how they've been using technology. And those are the things we're going to build on when building an interface. The other one is called brainstorming. Ideate. And this ideate, we have like brainstorming, trying to create the best solution out of it. And there's something called Crazy 8. I will not say much on that, but Crazy 8 simply means like having carve out like 8 screens, and you want to bring out the best solution out of it. It's more about creating solution. You want to create like 8 different designs or 8 different designs on a particular solution. You can come up with 8 different designs or like 8 ways of doing that particular product. You understand? Then when you are done with that, you can pick the best 2. Then from that best 2, you can do A/B testing. That's another side of the ideate process, where you can pick the best out of the 2, the one that meets the needs of that solution we want to create. For the last side of it, we have prototype. We talk about prototype. Now, prototype is when you finally gotten the solution you want, like you based on the iteration, the process you face from that processes, you've gotten that this is the product I have. You've created the model. You understand? Sorry, this is where you want to create the model. Now you can create that model in phases too. We have the low fee, where you can just sketch it with your paper. You can do that on paper. We have a mid fee where you can add a bit of color, make it more detailed, you understand? And we have the high fee. The high fee is more like the mock-up, like something perfect, like that's the mock-up, like something like 100% perfect. And that's what we have the high fee. Let me dwell more on this. When talking about prototype, most people want, like people maybe have interacted with, especially product owners or business owners, they really want this phase or this prototype side, which eventually also leads to user frustration, which is not good. Like I want to emphasize that UI UX or user experience is very important. This process is very, very important. It's a well thought after process by Stanford University. It's always called Stanford design thinking process, or you can call it design process. And if you can adopt this process into any product you want to build, it will really work well to a very high degree. Like the place where you need to do your research, a place where you need to understand your users, and a place where you need to speak with existing users or intended users, people that have used the products, maybe why after launch, when you need to do the testing, and which is also good to do that. And when it comes to prototyping, that prototyping is not always, and that's what most people do. People just come up with it and don't feel like what they have in their mind to do. They just put it there, which is not good. And that's why competitive analysis is good in every process I've talked about, like talking about especially that different side. You talk about the competitive analysis. You compare the product to other products, existing products people have been in. Where can I improve? Where do I have my users having frustration, like in using this product? Can I improve it? And if I can improve it in that phase, it will be a very good advantage for business. Prototype, and we have something called testing. We have testing. For testing, after the process, after we've gone through the process, we have the refinement of the process, and so it's something called usability testing. This product is meant to be tested by the intended users, but most often we don't go through this process. Most often people don't really have that patience to go through this process, which is very important for users to go through the testing of like inside design. And this is where the refinement can take place, like the refinement of the entire process from beginning, what you've done, the UI now must be, the color, is it well aligned? The alignment, everything, the color, when you press this button, is it going to the place it's meant to go? And that is user UI refinement, which is very, very important to talk about. And in this UI refinement, for UI refinement, let me say some stuff on UI refinement. For UI refinement, it talks about going back through the entire process, like what you've done. It's possible there's a mistake somewhere. It's possible a button is not well aligned. It's possible the color is not according to, for instance, the color, maybe the company's color is pink and let's just pink and orange, and the designer pick another shade of pink, which might represent the company in another direction. Then a call can be called to that, like your UI is not perfect, then we need to go back to that UI. And it's possible if it's the, what you call it now, probably a checkout page. Let me use the checkout page as an example for an e-commerce site. For that checkout page, what will happen is this. For instance, maybe the number of checkouts, what is meant to be there is not there. Maybe it's not leading to be the right page that is meant to be led to. For instance, a checkout, an ID checkout should lead to the payment stage. And it's possible that we have issue and hurdle in that space. That UI is not perfect. Aesthetically, it might be nice, but when talking about functionally, it's not perfect. And I will put it here that design itself is beyond the aesthetics, is beyond the beauty, is beyond what we see. Design in its entire process is about how it functions, and design is about problem solving. We want to solve a problem. We want to solve a business owner, or let's say a business owner or the product owner comes with a requirement. They will come with requirements with just documents. Now, it is now the work of the UI UX designer. Now, it is UI UX because we have the UI part and we have the UX part of it. Now, it is not the part of the UI. In some places, some companies is split. Some people are UX designer, while some people are UI designer. And that's why I'm focusing on the UX part of it in this webinar, so that people can have basic understanding on how it flows. And when you come to the academy, I believe you will learn more into it and how to build a standard product, or a standard product and a standard website, a standard mobile app at the very beginning, and you learn the entire process very well. And that is what I want to show you here. And I can also show you something on the product. That's working. Okay, it's still coming up. Okay. Okay, like I said, like the entire process is very, very important for us to have a good product at the very end, and that is the success of the joy of every business owner to have a product that is perfect and is according to design and is well aligned and thought of. I will not say much in this because I will not say more because of time. We need to come to the academy to learn more about this entire process that we're talking about. Design, design is something that is human-centered, like I said, and it integrates with people, the possibility of technology, and require and the requirement for business success, which is very important. The people that will use the products, the technology, and the requirement for business success. Nobody wants to build a site that nobody's visiting, which is not needed. Victor mentioned something like that. You don't have to a good website, a good app, or a good product that is well thought after or designed. You don't have to bring people in to explain to them that this is how it works. It does not a good product that it should be self-explanatory. And by when you click on the right button, because they are well thought out, and that is why this user experience process is very, very essential in this in the entire phase of UI UX design. It's very important. Let me go back there. Creating creating intuitive and engaging user experience. We talk about the design process and the Stanford-based standard. This is Stanford design process thinking, and this is a code by Tim Brown from Heidi Iho. And I talk about the process again, like the empathize. I think if you don't get anything from this webinar, you should be able to understand that we have main 5 design thinking phases or process. We have the empathize, we have define, we have ideate, we have prototype, and we have testing. And it's for you to understand the users for the empathize, identify the problem you want to solve with design, then brainstorm on solutions, creating models. That's what prototyping is. Anything you see now. But most people start from creating models, like I said, I've corrected that. And you can refine your testing, simply means refining the solution after creation. Go through it again from the onboarding process, if the product has an onboarding process, from the onboarding process to the entire process. And that is what we have empathized, ideate, prototype, testing, and we also have, and that's all I have for today. And I believe when you come to the academy, you'll be able to learn more and more about design process, and we teach you more about that. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you very much, Mr. Ifeoluwa, for that packed presentation on user experience. If you have any questions for Mr. Ifeoluwa, this is the perfect time to ask. So please feel free to use the chat button, or you can also raise your hand and I will call you to kindly unmute your mic and ask your questions as well. Mr. Ifeoluwa, I don't know, how long have you been a UI UX expert?
Okay, okay. All right, can I talk now?
Yeah.
All right, okay. I've been practicing UI UX, I think standard, that's 4 years, yeah, 4 years. Professional, 4 years, yeah.
Wow. So do you have any advice for someone who is just starting out in the field?
Okay, yes. I have advice, and this is advice I have for people. People need mentors to start with, and that's why Doyenify is here to mentor. We provide mentorship program for people. It's possible we have existing UI designer here, maybe they don't know how to actually get the job out there, and that's why Doyenify is here to help to help people to move from zero to hero. You understand? Thank you. Or you want to, can I expatiate more on that? All right, okay, thank you. For people to learn more about UI UX design, it takes discipline. Mr. Miwa will always something. There is nothing you want to learn that you will not require your personal effort. You're putting your personal effort. Your personal effort is very, very important in designing. Because I remember when I started, I most of the time overnight I can design an entire user interface up to 50 to 20 screens overnight. You understand? Like practicing. It takes time, but you keep practicing and practicing. And the more you get it, the more you get better on it.
Thank you very much. So are you the one that does your testing by yourself? You mentioned in the process of the design process, there's also like the testing aspect as well. Or do you give it over to somebody else to do the testing for you? Or is it a combination of both? So how does that work?
Okay, all right, yeah, I made mention of testing. Yeah, when you talk about testing, it's the usability testing. Like, there's a phase I mentioned before test, that's the prototype. And an ID or standard UI. I'm talking about ID now, and the standard phase it should work. It's not meant to be done by the designer. It's meant to be done by to be tested by the intended users. You prototype it very well. Like it's where prototype like it's implemented with design with coding tools, but probably the front end side of it now. And it's given to intended users to use it, to test it. That's where you can prototype a product, and it's given to intended users to use. You don't have to, as a designer, you must not interfere in that process so that you can get honest review and feedback. Yeah, I'm done.
Thank you very much for that response. Trying to give some more time to people who may have some questions for you. Just give you a minute or so to put together your questions in the chat. We're already coming to the concluding aspects of this program, and it has been great having you here so far. Please use the chat box. I'll just give a minute so you can ask your questions. In case you have questions and we have already concluded the program, you can always send an email to us and we will also get back to you on your questions. Okay, I can see one from Kolawole. How can you get a practical experience? I think this is for you, Mr. Ifeoluwa.
Okay, when it comes to practical experience, that's what Doyenify is. We give people hands-on experience. Yeah, we have people in Doyenify that we can, and that's why Doyenify is the academy. I think that's what we do. We provide training, we provide hands-on experience for people on any feed of endeavor. You can come to Doyenify for hands-on experience program, and you get practical hands-on on what you want to do.
Thank you very much. At this point,
I think I want to add something to that question. So I believe you can see my screen, right?
Yes, please go ahead.
So when you talk about hands-on experience, practical experience, you can see get satisfied with hands-on experience. That is actually very important in Doyenify. We believe you are what you do, and you are what you do repeatedly. So if you come here, you can see that if you come here, we have hands-on experience. You can join a team as a software developer, you can join a team as a data analyst, you can join a team as any what you want to do. We follow, and these are the process we follow. You have your admission, you have your learning, you start joining the sprints, and then you follow the project review, you start working on a project, and we believe that when you have gone through this process, round and round, you're on a very good path to your career. So you get admission, you join our team, we follow the agile methodology, agile traditions, and then you are on the part of understanding the process. You join our, you are going to be working on real life projects. So with Doyenify, we provide real life practical experience apart from the fact that we teach. For the purpose of those that are just joining, initially we've explained how we work, and I'm going to say it again. You get the training. We don't stop at just giving you the training. We proceed to giving you hands-on experience. And I believe that's what we mean by practical experience. After you get trained with us, or even if you have gotten trained somewhere else, you can join our team and then you work on real life projects. Then after that, we can start to talk about how you can either get jobs and the like. So yeah, that's what we do at Doyenify, as Ifulu has already said. Doyenify offer more than just training you in any field. And also for the purpose of just joining, we have our School of Engineering, Data Science, Product Design, Product Management, Cybersecurity, Marketing. And then if you decide that, oh no, I don't like writing code, yes, we have programs for people that don't like to write code. We have the graphic design, you don't need to write code, web design, digital marketing, you don't need to write code, search engine optimization, our UI UX design program, you don't need to write code, IT business analysis, manual software testing, and product management. These are courses you don't need to write code if you are going for the no code course. All right. I can see Ibukolua is asking another question. I will hand over the mic to Madam Tulu to continue.
Thank you for adding to the response of Mr. Ifeoluwa on the hands-on experience, Mr. Gwinya. We have a question from Mr. Richard, which is, what is the difference between UI, UX and graphics design? I think I can give this to Mr. Ifeoluwa.
Okay, all right, thank you. Yeah. Graphic design and UI are two distinct fields. They are distinct, you understand? But as a person, am I talking? All right, okay. As a person, you can be in that space. As a person, you can become a graphic. It can be a graphic. I started as a graphic designer. You understand? When talking about graphic design, your major role of a graphic designer is you can create logo, you can create social media posts. You can be able to create a social media post. You're able to choose create bulletins, all those things. That's graphic design. And the tools used for graphic design, you use something like Illustrator. You can use Adobe, Photoshop, Illustrator, CorelDRAW. That's for graphic design. But when talking about UI UX design, you conduct research, like you conduct user research, people that will use the product. You do survey, that is UI UX, and you create prototypes for it. That's why the difference is now you create prototype for your intended technology you want to use. If it's mobile app and if it's web app or called desktop, and that is the main difference we have there. And the two use for this Adobe SD, use InVision, use Sketch or Figma but some people now use, you can interswitch with those tools, but they are two different and two distinct things. For you to become a UI UX, you don't have to be a logo designer. You don't have to be a banner designer. You don't have no. You don't have to be that for you to become. You don't even have to have any graphic design. But what you need is what your user knowledge, how user will navigate on an interface. That's the most important thing. Thank you.
Nice. Thank you for responding to that question. I hope he has done justice to that question, Mr. Richard. Final question from Mr. Ulua is, can you be a designer after becoming a UX designer, or are they intertwined? Mr. Ulua, please can you take it?
Okay, like I said, yeah, there are two different things. I think what you mean by designer is graphic design. Graphic design is even very wide. We have different fields of graphic. We have visual design. We have motion graphic design, which is I think when they're talking about graphic design, we're talking about still. What I mean by still, like static design, nothing moving. But when talking about motion means a bit like a very short moving of elements, probably font move here, some element movement, that's motion graphics, and that's another field too. There are different fields, but as a graphic designer, basic things you must be able to do is be able to choose color, choose typography, and basic spacing. That is become a graphic designer. Of course, you can do the two together. As a designer, you can become the two together. For instance, I do the two together. I do the two together, and I do much more than that.
Nice. Thank you very much, Mr. Ifeoluwa, again for your time and for taking time out to speak with us today. Now we are come to the end of this program. Like I mentioned earlier on, the Doyenify Academy is here for you to help you become a doyen in your field, be it UI UX design, data science, or any other field of your choice. Today we had a session on UI UX design, and I hope you gained a little bit more insights into this field. At this point, I will invite Mr. Benga Oluyide to kindly give us the vote of thanks and close the program. Mr. Benga, over to you.
Thank you, everyone, for joining this program today. We really appreciate everyone. Yes, you've heard from our experts about UI UX. Next week, we are going to be having another program. We are starting our cohort very soon, whereby our cohort is starting. We have a lot of courses, as I mentioned, courses on software engineering, courses on software testing, a lot of. So we are going to have another kind of program, something similar to this next week. And then we are going to be talking majorly on all other fields, courses. We are going to be talking about software testing. We're going to be talking about financial data analytics. We're going to be talking in general about front-end design, front-end development, full stack software development, and so on and so forth. So it's going to be a nice time if you can join us again next week. Almost the same time, but I think it's going to be like 11 a.m. Nigerian time, and then 12 a.m. Estonia time. And then I don't know the time that it's going to be in the UK, but it's going to be communicated to everyone. We're going to communicate it. But yes, it's going to be a nice time for us to join again, to come and learn, and to come and meet the tutors directly. They will be here telling you what's going to be the benefits of you joining our program. And then I believe it's going to be an interesting time for everyone. I believe you all enjoyed the program today. If you have some personal questions, you can reach out to us, and we are going to answer your question. Ini, please, I think we need to have, since you are interested in some programs, we need to have a special time with you, and then let us understand what exactly you would like to know. Also, I'm going to share my screen a bit. Just to let you know, you can also contact us through a means. So for now, you can also, like for example, in Iniolua, you can see my screen, right? Can you see my screen, please?
Yes.
Okay, good. So you see, there's a link here. Where do I begin? So if you don't know where to begin, just click on this link, and then that means that you need some more information. Then you can click on this, and then you can book a section with us if it's a free section. So you are not paying for it. Just select the time, and then we are going to have a very good section, personal section with you, and we put you through whatever question you want to ask, and then we put you through our platform. So don't hesitate to reach out to us. That's what we do, and that's our calling. All right. Thank you, and I wish everyone well. We shall all meet at the top. Thank you.
Thank you very much. See you next time.
See you next time. Bye.